Hey viewers, my name's Cara. I'm your host for Tuesdays here on the Pagan Perspective collab channel. Or if you live in Australia, I'm your Wednesday host and always have been because time zones. This week we are doing exactly what we did at this point in the year last year. I actually checked and it was this exact same week, the 25th week of our collab year. And we are going to be asking you, the viewers, some questions this week. I really enjoyed this last year, not just because it gave us the opportunity to flip the script and ask questions instead of answering questions, but I think it really helped you know that you are welcome to answer the questions that we talk about and discuss on this channel as well. So I remember getting several video responses to most of our videos, if not all of them. And you're always allowed to do that. You're always allowed to take the question or the topic that we are discussing throughout the week and make your own video on your personal channel giving your pagan perspective or your perspective, whatever your perspective is on it. You're welcome to let people know in the comments that you've made that video on your channel. Usually if you put the link in, it might get flagged as spam, so the comment might not actually show up. We're not always moderating them exactly as they come in. You all know I personally do not read the comments on my videos until at least a month or more has passed. That's just a practice that I have developed for myself that helps me get through doing lots of different things on the internet. So it's not that I'm ignoring you, it's just that I purposely wait a little bit of time before I read them. So you may not want to use a link because it could get flagged as spam and then people won't see it, but you can tell people in the comments, hey, over on my channel, I made a video, this is the title of the video, so they can look it up, and then they can just click on your name, go to your channel, and see that video that you did. So you can always do that, is the moral of that story. But I feel like this week, last year, encouraged everyone to do that because we were just asking questions. So I think this is something that we should do at least once a year, if not more. So let me know if this is something that you'd like to see us do more often, maybe twice a year, 6 months apart kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know, I think this is a good sort of beginning a new calendar year thing. And we are in my kitchen today because this is the best natural light that I have at this time of day. The sun is setting and we're gonna be losing daylight here any minute. But yeah, so personal updates from me real quick. I am still suffering from insomnia about half of the time. So today I did sleep in much later because I couldn't sleep at all overnight. So when I finally got to sleep in the morning, I slept in, which is why now I'm losing daylight. So we're in the kitchen and I cut my hair this past week. I did it myself. So yes, it's a little uneven and whatever. But I just felt like it. Still wearing my grandma's sweatshirts because they remind me of her and because it's cold in my house. I have some hot tea, Pentacles of Pride International mug, and yeah, so here we go. Questions. Something that's always on my mind personally is books. So something that I will probably always want to know from you is, what are you reading at the moment? Are you reading anything that is specifically related to your spiritual path or practice? Or maybe you're reading something by your favorite fiction author. Maybe you're reading sci-fi, historical fiction, something that I love. Maybe you're reading a great graphic novel series that you'd like to tell people about. I think anything like that is super interesting. So also, in the sense that this week's topic for us is giving you prompts to do videos on your own channel. A lot of you want to start making videos on your own channel. Last year, that was one of our January questions. Someone was saying, advice for starting a pagan YouTube channel. And yeah, I think talking about anything that you like is always a great place to start because you'll be enthusiastic about it. So even if it's not a pagan related thing that you're reading, what are you reading right now? Share what you're reading. Or do you listen to audiobooks? Is that something that fits into your daily schedule or your personal preferences? Maybe you just prefer to listen to things. Let us know if you're listening to any good audiobooks. Do you listen to any great podcasts that you want to let people know about? You can totally make a video about any of that, and I would love to know. In particular, though, as far as the pagan books and other resources that are directly related to your spiritual path or practice, I would love to know, for those of you who might be currently following a more specific path, I guess you could say, what books or resources are out there that you would recommend other people to be able to learn about the path that you are on? And maybe that is a variety of different sources, because maybe your path, your practice involves 2 or 3 very distinct veins, something like that. But for example, if you're practicing druidry, if you are a druid, what are some resources that you recommend for people to learn about the type of druidry that you practice, etc.? Because I feel like a lot of the books we end up recommending are kind of Wiccan based or general witchcraft based, and of course there's nothing wrong with that. There are lots of people, including myself, who practice those paths and who are very interested in those paths. But I do think it's interesting for me to hear, with everyone's path being so personal and so nuanced, what are sort of the flavors, maybe the individual flavors that you can pick out of your medley that is your path, and what would you recommend to people to learn about each of those sort of paths that converge to make what you're doing. So for me, it might be recommending, I'm not supposed to answer anything in this video. I'm just supposed to ask you. Well, actually, that's not the rules. It's not that I can't answer. That's just not the point of this week. But just to give you an example, that might be like some traditional Wiccan stuff, some solitary Wiccan based, but not Wiccan specifically in itself stuff. And then it would definitely be reclaiming witchcraft stuff. It would be magical activism stuff, things like that. So maybe even basic, like connecting to the cycles of nature, earth-centered practice type stuff. Like those are the sort of things that I would pull from to help people sort of follow the path to find kind of where I am at the moment. So those are the book related or other forms of media related questions that I have for you. Going more on to that theme, other types of media, I would love to know, what are you watching? Because so my partner and I like to spend at least our dinner time eating together and watching a movie, or usually an episode or 2 of a TV series. So we have Netflix. We like to watch things on Netflix. We've seen all of the sort of Marvel superhero shows. I love those. And also all of the DC shows as well. So everything from Runaways and Cloak and Dagger to Black Lightning, The Flash, Green Arrow, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, etc. So we love watching all of that stuff. We're catching up on the episodes of Doctor Who as they become available. I think that's through Amazon Prime. And then we also watch things on Hulu. I mentioned earlier, as far as books go, that I love historical fiction. Similarly, we watched The Crown last year, and we are currently watching The Tudors, which my partner has seen all of before, but it's my first time watching it, and I'm really enjoying them. I really like historical fiction. I like things that draw you in with the story, but you're also kind of learning things about what really happened in history at the same time. And then if you're like me, you get out your phone and you're Googling the facts behind maybe some of the poetic license or artistic creative license that the show has taken. So you are constantly at the same time trying to get clear for yourself what is known historically and what is kind of painting the rest of the picture for us in story. I love story. But yeah, once we finish watching everything that we're watching, like we've watched all of Star Trek, everything like that, we're always looking for other things to watch. So what are you watching? What do you enjoy watching on Netflix? That's something I would love to know, that I also think would make a great video for your personal channel if you're looking for an idea there. Tea or coffee, or both, or neither? What area of the world do you live in, and what season is it there? Because here it's winter and we're losing daylight rapidly as I do this video. So I think it's always cool to hear about perspectives from different areas of the world, even just the individual climate where you are. Even if a lot of us are in the same country, where we are in the country greatly differs as far as the sort of mini climate where we are, and the plants, the flora and fauna that exist where we are. And again, if you are following a pagan-esque sort of path, maybe you could do a video about that, and how do the local flora and fauna affect your path and practice, if they do. And that is, of course, something that I'll be talking about more on my personal channel and elsewhere, because that is a topic that I enjoy. So here it is winter, so in a few months we will be getting into spring, and my partner and I do have plans to do some more work in our backyard to create raised garden beds and get some more of our things that we've been raising in pots indoors, our potted plants, trying to get some things moved to having an outdoor garden. So that is also something I'd love to hear about. Where you live, whether it's in an apartment or in a house with an extensive yard, do you grow plants? Do you grow plants in pots inside? Do you have an outdoor garden? Or are you just someone who's not into gardening or plants at all? And maybe that's just not a thing. Do you have any plans to one day become a plant person? What kind of music do you listen to? And do you ever find that people think you shouldn't know the music that you know because maybe it depends on what you were brought up listening to, what your parents or the people who were around you when you were growing up listened to and what you were exposed to? Because that's definitely true for me. A lot of the songs I know, a lot of the music I know tends to be a little bit older because I grew up going to my mom's karaoke shows and learning a lot of the songs that she knew and songs that she liked. So sometimes I know songs now that people who are older than me are shocked that I know because they don't think that a younger person would know that music. And my partner's the same way. They also know a lot of older music, but at the same time, they were raised with completely different genres of older music than I was. So we know some of the same music, but a lot of it's very different. So what kind of music were you brought up listening to? What kind of music were you exposed to? And what kind of music do you like today? And how do you think those things might be related? I'm trying to come up with some non-pagan questions here because I do think that those things are still interesting and can still be informative about who we are as a whole person. You know, our spirituality, our religious path, if you consider it such, which I do, is such a big part of our lives that it does provide a framework for everything. But I don't think that that means we can't also talk about what we're watching on Netflix or what music we listen to. Sometimes people love to use their favorite type of music in ritual because it evokes a lot of emotion, has a lot of meaning for you, even if it's not pagan music, quote unquote. I've seen people use music for ritual that you wouldn't necessarily expect to be used in a spiritual or religious context, but it ends up being really cool and really powerful because there's that personal connection. I should probably stop trying to come up with more questions because I know some of you are going to try to do a video and answer every question that I asked. And that's not necessarily what I thought was going to happen last year. I thought people were going to choose like one or two and answer them in their own dedicated video. But I guess if you can answer them quickly, why not put them all together? You know, you're not me. You don't talk for 30 minutes on any tiny topic that someone gives you, for goodness sakes. But yeah, I think at the moment, those are the biggest questions that I've been thinking of for sort of the past few days, like thinking of what I'd like to ask you about and what I personally currently find it interesting to ask other people. So yeah, like what are you watching? What are you reading? What are you listening to? What are the forms of media that inform your daily life, I guess? Like, I don't really listen to a lot of music at home because I'm usually recording videos or I'm reading a lot or something like that, and I'm one of those people that can't listen to lyrics while trying to focus on something. So I don't listen to a lot of music, and I used to listen to a lot more. So that's something that has significantly changed in the past few years of my life. But I still find it interesting to hear what other people are listening to. So, and then yeah, gardening, plants. Do you have any plans for that? Where do you live? What's it like weather-wise where you are? Yeah, I'll put the questions that I have brought up in the description of the video so that it's easy at a glance to find them for those of you who do want to answer all of them or just remember what they are. But as you can see, it is getting very dark, so I will end the video now. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, it gets even darker as I step back because it can't focus on me for the light. Look into the pentacle for the light. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in 2 weeks, because next week is subs week. That sounds about right. And they'll be talking about 2020 goals and intentions for the new year and things like that. And then I'll see you in February. Until next time, don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.